Hi, this is Bill Hartzer, and this is the Digital Marketing Podcast with Bill Hartzer for Thursday, September 17th, 2020. And today I have the pleasure of having Naira Perez here from Spring Hill Digital. She's the founder of Spring Hill Digital, a paid search and paid social media agency. So tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into the industry and your background.
Yes, thank you, Bill. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here and chatting with you. Yes, so I'm Naira Perez, founder of Spring Hill Digital, where we help small and medium businesses to have an effective digital advertising campaigns through social media, like you said, through Google Ads, Bing Ads, basically search engine marketing and advertising. We specialize also in startups. We help them get started in ads. And I mentioned that because I love small businesses, and that's why I started Spring Hill Digital.
Sure.
Originally, when I entered the industry of advertising, it was through infomercials and direct to consumer. So most commonly TV ads, obviously, but also radio and print ads and anything that had an 800 number attached to it, we would do it. And what that would generate was every day we will get the number of calls and orders, and we would even be able to hear the scripts and how the reps and the customers talk. So we knew what was working and what's not working. And we could change our tactics in real time. And I say real time, back in the day, it was more like weeks or even a month, where now is instantly. So whenever I made the transition to digital, it was just a natural. It was a natural progression that also was fantastic, because then it truly went to real time. It truly was at any time I could look at how my ads were performing and make changes on the spot. So I have a background in logistics, so I love optimizing. I love, finding the most effective way to do something. So for me, numbers are a fantastic thing to play with. So after being in the infomercial agency and then in digital agencies, I decided to start Spring Hill Digital because I found out that smaller clients have small budgets and they tend to get lost in big agencies. They just cannot solve the problems of smaller clients, just simply because their budgets are small, but their needs are big. So that's when I decided that Spring Hill Digital should be created just to help these kind of clients, help them get started, help them get to medium size and even bigger size. And then after that, they won't get lost anymore.
Sure. We started, I've been in the I guess the internet marketing or internet, industry since the 90s. And the first real, I remember banner ads and, trying to get clicks to websites. And then I guess the first evolution really was bidding on keywords with Overture and GoTo.com. And, then Google launched Google AdWords and so forth. And, then which is now Google Ads, that was basically what we call, I guess, keyword advertising, or, a lot of people just ended up calling it Google Ads. But now we have kind of, I guess, three different types of advertising on the web, or the main three ones. Not only just we have the search engine ads or pay-per-click. We've got social paid media and search engine pay-per-click, and then we also have native advertising. So can you kind of explain the difference between social paid media and search engine paid media and native advertising?
Yeah, absolutely. So the social paid media, which will include the big ones as well as small ones, but the big one will be Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, which is a more of a professional social media platform, and includes Twitter. I mean, we could go on and on and on. So the social media ones, the difference is I know the audience. The audience is there for a certain topic that they want to talk about. They want to go into professional development. They want to connect with their friends. In Instagram, they just want to see their friends, watch videos. So, or in YouTube, they just want to learn on how-tos or watch programs. So in that sense, it's a very passive medium where I'm interrupting their programming with my ads. They're there for another reason that is not me. They're not looking for me. And I'm right in the middle, like, hey, you have a problem, I can solve it. This is my brand, or enticing them with an offer. So the good thing about paid social media is that actually I can target them very well. The audience definition is amazing. I know that person is a man between the ages of 20 and 40 that likes sports, et cetera, et cetera. I can really do a good job at targeting. I don't know who he is. I don't know that he is John Smith. I just know he has a profile. And therefore, he's interested in these things, which are related to my brand. So the message is going to make sense. I don't know if it's the time for him to listen to my message. I don't know if he is actually looking for a solution to the problem I'm solving with my product. But I know that if he were, it will be him. If he was, then it will be fantastic. So let's say snow tires. It may be summer, and he may not need the snow tires then. But if I can fit the profile of a person that maybe lives in an area that is prone to snow, and I can guess, certain characteristics of his demographic, he likes cars, maybe he has a car, blah, 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 he's of the driving age, then I will tell him about snow tires, even though he's not looking for snow tires. On the other hand, we have Google ads as an example. When I say Google ads, I can say Bing ads, I can say Yahoo ads. Those are intention-based. In that sense, the people are looking for something, but I don't know as well who they are. So in the snow tire example, I actually know they're searching. I mean, you can do display, but searching as an example for snow tires, or they're searching for snow levels in the mountain, or so I know there's an intention behind it that relates to my product, and therefore I can serve them my ad. But I don't know if it was the 10-year-old making a paper on snow in the mountains, or if it was the dad, or if it was the mom. I don't know as well who they are as I know it in social media. But I do know they're looking for something really specific that actually my product is related to. So the audience matters. That's what we're saying, the audience matter. And the native advertising, there's a lot of types. The ones that we do through Taboola, and they have a lot of publishers which will put ads in their websites. Mainly the ones that we see a lot is news sources, news websites. So you read the articles, and at the bottom there is other articles. They look like articles, but they're ads, and so they kind of blend in with the content. So those ads are also very passive, because people are there to read the news, and then they find your ad, and if you entice them enough, if you actually have content that they will be interested in, then they will click in it. So in that sense, there is some targeting. Actually, Taboola uses a lot of third-party demographic collectors, so I can target very well, but it is not as good as social media, that's for sure. And social media gives you a lot of formats that you can use that are really good, that can make your product look really, really amazing to the audience, and you can explain it better. So those are the difference. It really depends on the audience and the intent.
Sure. So you mentioned the audience, though. Obviously that is going to be critical for a lot of these. Any just about any advertising, or even creating the message on messaging on your website and the landing pages that they get to, and
Mm-hmm.
defining that audience, and knowing exactly, okay, well, who's my ideal customer, and
Mm-hmm.
having either that defined for one audience, or multiple different types of potential customers, uh,
Mm-hmm.
and that is going to be critical for a lot of the stuff on the web, not just for SEO and creating the messaging, and creating the copy and the text on your website and so forth, but also defining that audience is critical for for, let's say, for Facebook advertising, because
Mm-hmm.
we don't want to necessarily just target very broadly,
Mm-hmm.
because we have that option to get into that demographic. The only situation where we may want to open it up, a little bit more, and hit more people, is that maybe you're a restaurant and you want to get and you target one particular city, or one particular where the restaurant is located within, say, a certain distance, and
Mm-hmm.
you target, then you show those ads to everybody who is located in that city. That otherwise, still, that defining and taking the time to define that audience is going to be critical.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And even within that audience, I would say, unless it makes it super, super small, if you have a restaurant, if you're a high-end restaurant, then you want to go with people that actually buy at, Neiman's
Sure.
and Marcus, or like Nordstrom, or you want to reach the person that is going to come to your restaurant, instead of the person that is going to buy, that doesn't care as much about the food or the experience, and then we'll just go to McDonald's and get the
Sure.
$1 burger and they're fine. So, but you're completely right. You need to really research your audience, and we actually use a lot of that SEO research that you made to make your website rank and to make your website relevant for search
Mhm.
engine. We use a lot of that to also define our audience, and vice versa. In Spring Hill Digital, we do, that's what differentiates us a lot of the times with other competitors, is the fact that we take time to look at your audience. We do look at who is it that you want to reach, and who would be the most receptive to your message. Because that, at the end of the day, call me a dreamer, but I think that advertising could be a useful tool for people to find solutions to their problems. The only thing
Sure.
is, we have to make advertising relevant and just target the right person. That's when you actually are solving problems with your product. So we actually go and look at how people are talking about a certain topic. We had a client, as an example, that was talking about very technical terms, and talking about, it was about babies, and talking about the attachment, and how moms will analyze the attachment of their kid if they sleep trained or something of the sort. Well, moms don't think in those terms. They are thinking about that topic, but moms will think, will my kid love me less if I sleep train? They're
Yep.
not thinking about the attachment. I don't talk to other moms about, whoa, the attachment will be affected. So whenever we're making ads, whenever we're making blog posts, whenever we're talking to those people, we should always talk in their language, and just talk about, well, no, your kid will still love you, but, or don't worry about this part, look at this other thing.
Sure.
um, but that comes with as an example, a trick that we use is we go to Amazon and look at books that talk about those topics and just read the reviews of the people that have read them. Then we find out questions that they have. Then we find out the key language that they're using, the words, which then we use for Google Ads or we use for SEO, and just make a really, really complete picture of how this person looks in their life and what is that worries them and what are the problems that they have.
Sure, there is a great feature that is part of Facebook is called a Lookalike Audience, where you can take your current customer list or current email list data from names, addresses, phone numbers, or name, email, and phone numbers, and upload that list. And then certainly one option is to is to market, and target, certainly in Facebook, you can target your current customer base, maybe offer them a promotion or a coupon or something like that. But also they have the lookalike audience where they'll take the demographics information from that particular list that you upload and find other people who are in the same age group, and the same have the same demographics essentially, and is essentially a lookalike audience.
Yeah, it's a fantastic feature. I'm glad that you mentioned it. Yes, lookalike audiences are great. Like you explained, you just upload a list of customers, and then the algorithm will create a persona or a profile of who is your customer, because Facebook's platform has so many data points on each one of us that they just find the most common and create a profile. And then once that's created, then it goes out into the platform and looks at people and search for people that meet that profile. So in a way, it's very effective. However, I would say you need to plan ahead and look at what do you want them to do, because it's not the same to look at customers which are going to purchase than leads or news feed subscribers. So upload the right list. A lot of companies have many lists. You have your subscribers, you have your customers, you have your repeat customers. So make sure that what you want them to do, then that you select the proper list and you clean up that list, because there's nothing more frustrating than having a dirty list. Clean up the list, upload it, and then create campaigns based on who those customers were and what you want them to do.
Sure.
A very wrong thing to do will be to just put newsfeed subscribers or newsletter subscribers. They are there to get information from you, but they may never purchase. They may be great for email, but that's about it. So if you expect those those subscribers to actually buy, you're going to be very disappointed, and you're going to create a lookalike audience that is totally wrong. However, if you want them to purchase, then you get the customers, and create the offer according to what you want them to do. Again, that planning that goes on top is key, because not only lookalikes, you can tell Facebook to just see who interacted with your page and create an audience of who interacted with your page, or that watched 10% of the video or 50% of the video that you posted, or there's so many fantastic options. That's why in my mind, Facebook is the pioneer in targeting, and it's amazing what they have done. But it can be overwhelming if you don't know what you're doing and you don't plan for it.
Yes, and also, you mentioned like a newsletter subscriber, that it could actually also be, your competitors might actually be subscribed to your newsletter, and then you're advertising basically to your competitors and showing your messaging as well. So you don't really know exactly, unless you have a lot of uh, additional information about those newsletter subscribers, it could be,
Hmm.
we don't actually know.
Yeah.
Uh, and the
Yeah.
also thing, I'd like to also point out is that's all good for starting, but
Hmm.
it's critical that as you go forward, you're watching your conversions, you're watching
Hmm.
which advertising mediums are, which are performing better uh,
Yeah.
than others, because if you do Facebook and Instagram, you might have more sales or more conversions on Instagram than Facebook, or vice versa.
Hmm.
Uh, the same thing with just the Google PPC ads that every on a regular basis, that you need to go in and see which keywords, for example, are converting and
Hmm.
better than others, and if certain
Exactly.
keywords are not converting well, or have never had a conversion in 6 months, then maybe maybe you need to certainly adjust your budget on certain campaigns, certain keywords. Certain Facebook campaigns may need to be adjusted.
Hmm.
Then
Yeah.
obviously we can see with conversions, you can see the average age group, and maybe if you're advertising between people that are 18 to 65, but only people 50 to 65 are actually buying, then you may want to adjust as well.
Hmm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I say if a company has, if a brand has more than one channel that they're using, the other layer is to see how the relationship between them. Because sometimes if you have Facebook, it raises awareness, and then people look for you at some other point in in Google, and then they're served an ad, and then they convert in Google.
Sure.
But the first time they saw you was in Facebook. So we need to really be aware of all that
Mhm.
relationship. But absolutely, especially with the small budgets, you have to optimize and you have to watch where are the campaigns performing the best, and just A/B test all the time. If I turn Facebook off, is my Google going to be affected? If it's not,
Sure.
then there's no relationship. Fine. Normally, everything is related because now audiences can jump from one channel to another very quickly looking for information. So more than likely they're all related. But if you have a small budget, then I get this question all the time: which channel should I go to? And it just depends, and you have to analyze what works for you. That's where
Sure.
maybe then you take a professional that can do that for you, because you want to run your business, you want to make bread, you don't want to
Yep.
have to deal with Facebook and Google ads.
So how, one final question here is, how much do you recommend spending, on spending? I mean, is it, should we start off with a very, very small budget and go from there? Or should we, yeah, how much would you recommend? Maybe we're a
Mhm.
small business with a
Yeah,
couple employees.
yeah.
How do we even figure that out?
Yes, it's a good question, one that I get a lot. So if you're going to do it yourself and you're not going to pay anybody else, then I would say reserve at least $1,000. That gives you a lot of wiggle room. $1,000 a month. That gives you a lot of wiggle room. But I have clients that $1,000 is too much for them, and so they spend much less. Whenever you do that, know that you're going to have to be patient, because it's going to take more time to get results.
Yeah.
Facebook, as an example, the algorithm needs 50 conversions, whatever you define that conversion to be, 50 conversions in a 7-day span to actually just learn and know how to duplicate
Mhm.
that success and look for the people. So know that we have those thresholds that we have to go through. So, but I have clients that are spending, $10-15 a day, and that's much less than
Sure.
$1,000. But they're patient. They just want to build brand. They want to get some orders on the side,
Mhm.
but that they know it's going to take time. So Now, if you want professionals on your side, then you're going to have to double that at a minimum. Especially if they do creative for you, then you go even higher. So in a year, I would say you have to reserve at least $25,000 in a year if you want to hire a professional and pay the platforms directly. And there's many levels of professionals, obviously, but that's what I tell people. Now, sometimes we can make with less, and sometimes we start with less and then grow and then go over that. It just depends on each situation and what you want out of the ads. And setting realistic expectations is what you should do for your campaigns, or a professional should tell you, like, this is where it will take you, this budget. But yeah, there is small campaigns that work really well, and there are others that need a lot of optimization and a lot of time because they're so small.
Well, great. So thank you for spending this half hour with me here on the on the podcast. How can we get in touch with you if we certainly have any more questions, or want to hire you to help us with our campaigns?
Yes, thank you. So you can go to our website. It's springhilldigital.com, springhilldigital.com. And then actually there you can contact us, or even you could just download a planning guide that we have, that it's free. If you decide to do it on your own or try it on your own, we have things not to forget to plan for. As an example, well, different formats for your creative, or don't forget the CTA, the call to action, things like that. It's 3 pages, so it should be really complete, and it will get you off in a good start. So just Spring Hill Digital right there in the homepage.
Okay, thank you very much for spending this time with me this afternoon. The website is springhilldigital.com. Naira Perez. Thanks again. This is the Digital Marketing Podcast with Bill Hartzer for September 17th, 2020. Thanks again for spending some time with me. Thanks.
Thank you.